I mean, thank you very much, Kim, for asking me to contribute to this meeting. I think it's very comprehensively covered all the topics. I was asked to give the closing remarks, and I feel very privileged to do so. I was also asked to give a tribute to Professor Peter Morris, but unfortunately, due to health issue, he's not able to be joining us. I've only got 5 minutes. I'm very aware of the time, and in fact, it's about 1:30 in the morning in Sydney. It's fortunate that Richard Allen's already presented a lot of work that Professor Morris has been involved in, and his contribution, particularly in transplant immunology, has led to an improved recipient outcome. Many accolades, many awards, not possible to go through them, but some of the highlights are the Fellow of Royal Society. Only a handful of surgeons has ever been awarded that. Foundation Fellow of the Academy of Medical Science, ex-presidents of Transplant Society, presidents of Royal College of Surgeons of England. Very young age, heading the Department of Surgery in Oxford, and he's been awarded a knighthood, and you can see the photograph there by the Queen, and also companion of the Order of Australia, which is the country he was born in, and he did his surgery training. Too little time to actually give him accolade for what he's achieved. But I thought I would quickly share my time with him when I was in Oxford, and seeing him as I of a fellow. I went to Oxford, as Kim has said, shortly after his stay, and we overlapped for about a week. And Oxford Centre, it's headed by Peter Morris, but mostly run by consultant staff. David Cranston, I'm so pleased that I was able to communicate with and say hello to him early in the day. And he's one of the consultants. Sadly, I heard that Derek Gray at the time, he's passed away, and Justin Rooks now in New Zealand. And so the three consultants are running the unit with a professor in charge. And as a fellow, I thought the unit runs beautifully, but I don't get to see Professor a lot. And that's how it is usually. I just thought that, I'll give you some example of how impressed I was as working with him. Christmas comes, and that's the only time he really get to spend much time actually physically working in the transplant unit. And he'll say to everybody, well, all the consultants go on holidays, all the laboratory staff can go on holiday. He will do the tissue typing, he will do the cross-matching himself, supervise the transplant. And sure enough, a transplant comes in, he did the tissue typing, cross-matching, supervised the transplant, everything went perfectly. I don't think many transplant surgeons could do that. So I thought I was very impressed. And I thought he was a great role model for surgeons. He behaves well, he's very warm to his staff, and I just thought that that's something that many of us can base on and copy. Terrific sportsman, his love is cricket, tennis, and golf. I thought that in the research of Professor, Kim has asked me to look for some photographs, and I thought in 2020s, one of the accolades you can give a person is looking for his photograph. Is that I actually find that after 10 years of retirement, vintage photograph of Professor Morris is still available for sale in eBay. I thought that was a bit of a surprise, but that's an accolade for the modern time. I thought on this occasion, I should really thank him on behalf of all the transplant patients who benefit from his research, all the medical and paramedical staff that has learned from his work, and all the surgeons has been trained by him. So I wish him health, even though he's not here to listen, and a sincere thank you from all of us. Then I'll move on to the next part, which is a closing remarks. I think the meeting the reason why it's gone over time is so much has been covered, and how we actually can improve the organ availability, the mismatch, how to improve outcome in recipient, minimally invasive surgery. A big fan of Professor Modi about his minimally invasive work, truly inspiring. And I've started doing robotic transplant as well, and I think there's a future in it, but it is a little bit unlike the laparoscopic donor surgery, where you can actually reduce the disincentive and more people will come out and donate. You will still have the same number of people receiving kidney, it's limited by the resources, but if the potential of reducing complication and outcome, that's terrific. And in the future, we can look at maybe biomanufacturing of the graft and xenograft and wearable kidneys. And I think speculating sometime in the distant future where we can't really reject operating on a 90-year-old because 90 is really the new 50s, and your elective list would be consist of multiple robotic transplant or putting grafted, printed kidney in an elective fashion where the patient doesn't require immunosuppression. That's perhaps what we can look at in the next 66 years. Thank you so much for your attention.